humans. This is an adoption campaign, but it's not for me or Mr. Buttons or Frank over there. It's for you, humans. This is a call to humans to adopt our movement, to adopt our cause.
This isn't just about saving one of us.
It's about saving all of us.
Thousands of lives, every single day.
It's about support for every one of us four, and sometimes not four-legged best friends, waiting to meet a best friend of our own. With Best Friends Animal Society leading the charge.
Shelter by shelter, city by city.
We can save thousands of pets each day. Join us. Together we can save them all.
Thank you for joining us for Pet Connect. I'm Tara Douglas. Be sure to watch the Facebook pages of the Sylacauga Animal Shelter and Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill because we have some exciting adoption events coming up. We've got an adoption event at Walmart, one at PetSense, we'll be at Crazy Days, we'll be at Sunshine Saturday. So in April and May, we're going to be quite busy. There'll be lots of opportunities for you to bring the family out and come meet some puppies and see if you can find a new member of your family. So make sure to come out to all those events. We'll have more information as we get closer to those dates so that you'll have the times and locations and where we're going to be. And if you're not able to get out to the shelter on Saturdays to walk the dogs and visit with the cats and meet all the animals that are available, then definitely come out to those adoption events. But we have our pet of the week this week. It's Angus. I've talked about him before. Angus is a shelter dog that is about 2 or 3 years old. He's been at the shelter, he was there about a year, and we were able to pull him and send him to Meredith Dempsey at For the Love of Dog. She's got the boarding and training facility where she will support the Sylacauga shelter and take one of our dogs and give them some time away from the shelter. He is very active, he is very strong, so if you are not an active family or an active person, he's not the dog for you. We need to have some good activity for him. But he's doing great at Meredith's. He's going to be there for a few more weeks. We have lots of people who donated money for us to get him there, and he is doing great with other dogs, and like I said, he's great with people. So if you're looking for a dog, let us know and we can arrange a meet and greet with Meredith, because he won't be at the shelter on Saturdays when we're walking dogs. He may be at some of the adoption events, but we can definitely get a time where you can go out and meet Angus, because we would love to find him a home so he doesn't have to go back to the shelter. Our shelter staff, they take wonderful care of all the animals there, but the shelter is still a stressful place for the dogs to have to live, and Angus is doing much better with fewer dogs and in a boarding kind of facility. So we would love to have him find a home from Meredith's. So please share information about him, watch the Facebook page, share pictures of him when you see him, and let's find him a home, because we're going to make sure that he has a great life from now on. Now, that is all the announcements that we have. We want to get to our special guest today because we have Lieutenant Clay Upchurch from the Sylacauga Fire Department. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Now, you've been at the fire department for how long?
5 years.
Okay, so you've got lots of good information for us about fire safety and just safety in general. But let's talk about animals in particular. So we're going to kind of put a different spin on your normal talks, I imagine, talking about dogs and cats. But what are some things that we need to know about fire safety and pets and everything that can happen at a home?
Yeah, so with your pets, and one thing you need to, know with your pets is, if you have young, little dogs, little cats, things like that, they like to get out, they like to chew on things, they like to, just be little puppies and stuff like that. So when you're gone, you need to make sure that you have them in a safe spot to where they're not chewing up cords. You need to make sure that you don't leave, candles and things like that for cats to knock over, stuff like that. So you need to either, keep them in a safe room, or you need to keep them in a kennel. So one thing with the kennel is you need to keep it in a spot that is kind of close to an exit. So either the front door, back door, something like that. That way, if there is a situation where there might be a fire or something like that, and we go in, they're going to be right there.
Okay.
You know, so we don't want them to be in the back room locked up in a bedroom or something like that, because it might take us some time to get back there.
Okay.
So we need to know, like right off the bat when we come in there, hey, you know, we need to, you know, get them out pretty quick.
So is that, how do you find out that there's an animal in a house when you've got an emergency like that?
So if there's not a homeowner there, we can either no homeowner, no, you know, neighbor to kind of confirm that. You know, we'll just kind of look at clues.
Okay.
So, like I said, if we walk in, we see a kennel, or we see, you know, a dog bowl, water bowl, toys, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We'll kind of pick up on some of that stuff as we go in if we have visibility, and if not, then we have thermals. So they're like they're just like thermal imaging cameras, so they can pick up on body heat.
Oh,
so
that's really cool. I didn't know you had that.
Yeah, so actually that's what we used with the dogs on Cannon. You know, when we saved those dogs, it was because of those thermals.
Yeah, so tell us about that story, because that was definitely a feel-good story in the animal community, that you guys were able to get in there and save some dogs at that house fire. But you did use the thermal imaging to know that they were there?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, it was very low visibility. You know, when you go in, there's a lot of smoke. So we were able to go in and kind of search the house and use that imaging camera and kind of scanned all the rooms. You know, and those dogs were actually all in the master bedroom. 2 of them were still laying in their bed. 1 of them was hiding behind the master bed.
Okay.
You know, the bed frame in the wall, and 1 of them was in the closet.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so those help us a lot. You know, we've got a bunch of stories of dogs and cats like that. So dogs and cats, they all react differently. You don't know how they're going to react. So some might try to get out, some might just try to hide and get in a spot where they feel comfortable. And that's what happened with them.
Okay.
They just hunker down in a spot that they felt comfortable. We've had one scenario where a dog he tried to get out, and he was right at the front door.
Okay.
And he was laying at the front door. So when we made entry, he was right there. So we grabbed him, passed him off to the firefighter behind us. He immediately started CPR on the dog.
Okay.
Because he wasn't breathing. So he was working CPR, and then the ambulance service got there, and they were able to put some oxygen on him. And by the time we were done with the fire, that dog was up walking around in the yard.
I bet that makes you feel good whenever you save, of course, people, but when you're able to help an animal too.
Yes. And the homeowner was just, you know, it's a bad situation to be in with your house on fire, and then, you know, possibly losing a pet. But then seeing him after that, he was very happy. So we've had another scenario where we've had a firefighter, a dog actually caught on fire. And they were able to stop him and get him, you know, pat him out and everything. And that firefighter ended up adopting that dog. So he still has him to this day. So.
And that's another story that we heard about in the animal community. And that's another really good story that they was able to take care of that dog and adopt it. And dog's got a full life.
Yes. Yep. It's a happy dog.
Yes.
For sure. So. Yeah, all of them are going to react different. You don't know. So some might try to get out, some might try to hide. And even when you do get the pets out, you need to make sure that you hand them off to the homeowner or a neighbor or somebody. You need to make sure they have a collar on to where, you know, possibly even have, you know, a leash. You know, if we have to go back inside and get a leash or something like that, we can do that in certain situations. But you don't want to somebody hands you your dog, you set them down, and then they run right back inside. Because that's happened, especially with, you know, dogs and cats. We've went in and we've got 5 or 10 cats out before, and every time we bring one out, we try to give them to the homeowner, and they just right back in. Okay. So it's never ending. So we need to make sure when we do get them out that we can keep them out.
Yeah. So if you can have a kennel, like you said, close to the door, that you know that even if your dog is not in the kennel or your cat's not in the kennel, if you've got some that you can get to easily, then that's how you can contain them, and then make sure you have some leashes available. So that's good to, I mean, that's good to think about. You know, most people probably haven't thought about having those things at a door just in case something happens, where you can get to it easily and contain the animals.
Yes. And the kennel, you know, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because you need to keep them locked up in a way, because sometimes dogs and cats can start fires, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But also, you know, them being in a kennel, not being able to get out and kind of self-rescue type thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's a fine line there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just use your best judgment and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes. No, but those are some really good tips and good stories too. I mean, like we love to hear those kinds of things. Now, you don't just fight fires as a fireman, so you have to go into homes to help people.
Yes.
What are there different things that you wish people knew or thought about when you're having to help someone in need that has animals in the house? I mean, what are some things that we should do with our animals when you need to get in to help someone?
So, you know, just use your best judgment on either restraining them or you can take them and put them in a room. You know, we have that happen all the time because they might not try to bite us or anything like that, but they're definitely going to sit there and they're going to bark. They're going to growl.
Yeah.
They're going to make us feel a little uneasy, so we're
Yeah.
not as concentrated on the situation, more concentrated on the dog or the cat, you
Yeah.
know, whatever it may be. So just, you know, try to use your best judgment and just get them put them up in a kennel or something like that.
So you can do your job.
So we can do what we need
yeah.
to do while we're there, and then as soon as we leave, just let them back out.
Now, in the unfortunate situation where you have someone that has to leave the home, and you may not have an answer for this, but if you have to get a person out of the home that's sick or has a problem, and they're the only ones there, what happens with the animals? Like if you see that they have a dog or a cat, who's the person that tries to get in touch with family members? I mean, where does that go from there? I mean, your focus is on the person, I know, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. So we'll try to talk to that person, that homeowner, and then we'll get a contact from them, you know, and just go from there and try to get somebody set up to come get the dog and get the cat, you know, take care of them, stuff like that. Until then, you know, we could take them and put them in a kennel. We could put them in, you know, put them in a bedroom or something like that. But other than that, you know, we just have to try to get somebody.
just do the best you
know,
can.
Yeah, get somebody that they know over there, somebody that knows the pet,
Yeah.
you know, that can go over there and take care of them.
Yeah, I always wondered what happens in a situation like that where the homeowner's gone, only person there, who is responsible for trying to figure out what to do with those animals from there. But it's good to know that somebody has their eyes out for all things like that to see what can happen next for that creature while the person is gone.
Right.
But you guys do so much for the community. It's not just going in and with fires and rescuing people. I mean, we see you out at every event. We were just talking about that. You're always there with the fire truck, have water going for the kids. But I've got a picture that Chris will show in a moment. We've got a dog that, because I mentioned we're going to be at Crazy Days and at Sunshine Saturday. Here's Hawkeye. This was 2 years ago, so you were at the fire department at that time, and this was at Crazy Days where y'all set up the water for the kids to play. Well, we had a volunteer walking Hawkeye around, and she took a picture with the fire truck, and then the fire department shared this photo on the Facebook page, and it was because of that photo that you shared through your Facebook page that Hawkeye got adopted. That very next week, somebody went to adopt him after they saw that picture. So, you know, you helped a dog that way, and the department probably didn't even know it. I think we told somebody, but that, you know, it helps so much, everything that you do in the community, and you know, we see the fire department out so much, and we appreciate y'all, not just in emergency situations, but all the fun things that you do for the community too. And
yes, ma'am.
you know, I always tell everyone on the show that if you see something on Facebook, to share it, because you never know who out of your Facebook world is going to respond to those different pictures. And the fire department shared that picture of Hawkeye, and he's in a loving home now, so that's
awesome.
great.
Yep,
So you've saved a dog another way than just at a home when there's an emergency situation. But Clay, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know you've got your own pets too, and
I do,
so
yes.
You're an animal lover and will take good care of people and creatures in all the homes
for
that
sure.
you enter. But
Yes, ma'am.
we just again thank you so much to the fire department. Thank you thank you for coming on the show and talking about these
yes,
things.
ma'am.
And make sure to come out to the shelter this Saturday and walk dogs. You won't meet Angus, whose picture's up right now, but you can meet other dogs that are available, and then we can get you set up if you decide you want to meet Angus with Meredith, and you can head out to For the Love of Dog and get to meet him. But this Saturday we'll be there from 11 to 1, and the dogs are enjoying their walk. So come on out and join us, and we'll have more Daybreak after these messages.